I've got a little life hack for you, okay? I've been checking out stand-in desks. I've got a desk at home that I'm thinking I'm going to just cut the legs off and just weld in some taller legs to make myself a tall desk. I'm staying at my mother-in-law's place for a few days while I'm here in Mexico. It's kind of hard to travel with a stand-in desk, but I did something really cool. I grabbed the low coffee table and I put it on top of the dining table. So now I have a desk that is perfect height of my elbow so I can stand and type. Camera's right there, the microphone's set up, desk lamp up top, perfect. Welcome to the Paradise Paradox. My name's Aaron Battle, and in this episode, it's kind of one of those random ones where Kurt and I are just having a normal conversation, and then all of a sudden it's like, there's something in this, there's something here, we could be recording this could be something. And basically it was just a normal conversation for us, talking about how I met up with some Australian friends, Holly and Jason, the other week. And we're discussing normal stuff like socialism and capitalism and the sharing economy that that a lot of young kids like us are starting to work out, that you don't really need to be working full time and aiming to get this big corporate wage just to get around and live and travel. If you're able to think a little bit, be smarter about the way you spend your money, where you invest your money, and share stuff or rent things rather than buying it and carting around and storing it in your house. So we touch on fintech, we talk about Bitcoin and alternative currency, how that's powering an alternate economy that's in turn helping out the sharing economy. Then we talk about a few situations here in Mexico. I've been traveling Mexico. Kurt's been here for a few years. The friends that dropped in, they're recently in China. So we're just normal Australian people that travel a little bit, start scratching our head and going, maybe things could be a little bit different, or maybe the way we do things isn't exactly perfect. So having that alternate 2 or 3 different cultures and points of view, you begin to realize that there's better ways to live, less stress, less work, and more fun. So less work, more fun. For those that are donating, thank you very much. I love when Kurt sends you a message, sweet, another donation's come in. That's wonderful, because who doesn't like getting tipped? That's cool. In this episode, you're going to see that Kurt's actually wearing one of the Paradise Paradox shirts. I want disclosure, so it's there, tie-dye, the pyramid, the alien ship, the UFO, unidentified object. Don't know if it's an alien, it's just an unknown ship shooting a beam of light down on the pyramids, ancient alien stuff. If you don't like that shirt, check out their website, www.theparadiseparadox.com. There's other designs there. There's a whole lot more coming. We're traveling, we're pretty busy, but we do intend getting a whole lot more designs up there. So hopefully by the time you guys watch this, there is more than what there are at the moment. I've got a couple in order. I'm going to grab the shirt Kurt's wearing, but I'm going to wear it in pink. I think I'm man enough to get away with that.
Thank you. Check it out.
Right on. Okay, so I recently had some friends from Australia rock up. They contacted me I felt like a year ago, and they said, hey Aaron, you're in Australia. You're in Mexico. We're in Australia.
Where the fuck are you?
If we visit, cool if we drop in. I'm like, yeah, alright, just give me some notice and we'll make it happen. So the day before they fly into Guadalajara, they messaged me like, Aaron, we're coming to Guadalajara tomorrow. Well, I'm in Mexico City, but I'm actually going to Guadalajara tomorrow as well. for completely different reasons. And the reason why I was coming to Guadalajara, I didn't actually complete. So we ended up just hanging out a couple of days. Anyway, so we had some pretty insane conversations while we were hanging out, because they're socially aware people. Both are vegan, so they're pretty hardcore, considering you're in Mexico where that everything contains meat. So we had a couple of days of just eating tacos and beans and rice, which is all good by me, but it's not that easy. Anyway, so she started asking me questions about what I think about the world, and mainly capitalism. And of course, I ate all that up because it's cool. It's cool meeting a friend after years of not seeing somebody, and then have such intense questions. I mean, because I think she tuned into a couple episodes, and she's like, "Well, Aaron's got some pretty strong views on things all of a sudden. I always have. So how about I get his point of view and see if we're still friends?" It turned out, I think now we're much better friends. But she was asking me about capitalism and about how screwed up this world is, and how we need to end all this capitalism, and how she's not a communist, but she's like somewhat socialist, and how socialist ways are the way of the future, and this whole sharing economy movement, and how everything's great. We don't need to like slave away in jobs like we have been for previous decades or generations. And so she was like, let's end all capitalism. I'm like, wait a minute. And I was able to say, wait a minute, because I think her view of capitalism was my view of capitalism, maybe even, a year ago, 6 months ago. And I could recognize that what she was saying wasn't exactly succinct with my new opinion of capitalism. Like, going down the path of freedom, free market, less or no regulation, things like that. Because people don't really think about that. They think of capitalism as these big corporations that are exploiting emerging economies, having slave labor type wages, and just completely raping countries' minerals for next to no money because of the debt that these countries build up. And they're like, well, we need to sell it. We've got to keep our GDP up.
And those are all definitely problems that need to be addressed. And if you look at it like if you use like a Marxist definition of the word capitalism, that's kind of what it looks like, and it makes sense to blame it on that. But when you look at it a little further, you see there's problems with government intervention, and sometimes big corporations get exemptions from laws, and they get protectionism and subsidies, and I, as far as I can tell, that's where a lot of the problems come in. But I think it's important to remind people, when you talk about capitalism, like, it's not just Walmart, it's not just Safeway or BP or whatever. It's also the guy on the corner selling those tacos de canasta, or the Italian immigrant who's serving you up a delicious espresso in the morning. That's capitalism too. That's all part of it. And so you need to be aware. Yes, there are bad parts of this thing which people use this broad term capitalism, but there are good parts too, and good parts which just about everybody can appreciate.
Yeah, it's like that separation of what the two are. You don't think about the guy out the front of the nightclub selling roses for $5 a piece. You don't think about that as being capitalism.
Yeah. Just
because that's just some guy. There's no brand. There's no the business structure's him, his flowers, and the trade of $5 for the rose.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I was able to try and in my own way, try and explain the difference, and trying to bring in the free market, and how people should be allowed to trade outside the regulations of what government put down, and then what that causes, and then we go into monopolies and permissions, and then barriers to entry with business. You put down 10 grand to get a business license, or if it's something a little bit more profitable, put down 100 grand just to whatever, or put down $1 million to open up a petrol station. exactly, whatever. And then I could see wheels were starting to turn. And the following question naturally was, well, that all sounds great, but how do we go from this mess that we have now to that kind of, more open situation? And, for that, it's like, okay, well, we need another coffee, or we need to sit down, because all of a sudden we're talking about things that, it's kind of hard to swallow if you're not into all those nasty conspiracy theories, right? So, of course, I'm starting to talk about things like the dollar collapse, about the mechanics of central banking. I'm talking about, there's a whole list of stuff, but let's see, I don't know, I just rattled them off. What am I missing here?
The future of financial technology, like Bitcoin,
Bingo.
how that's going to interplay with central banking as it currently exists, and how it's going to affect taxation, so people have more control over their own money. And there's all of these broad range of factors which are coming together. Like you said, she was talking about like more of a sharing economy, like using Uber and Airbnb, and that helps reduce the power of these established structures like the Hilton Hotel, or what have you.
Yeah.
So we're starting to have all these new ways of doing things, which power is allergic to. Well, large amounts of what's the word? Centralized power.
Well, that's a cool thing about, identifying money as being like the power to trade and exchange. But then the other side of it is, just society having an increased awareness on the very little that government is actually doing as a benefit for society. I think there's more of an awareness that, perhaps we don't really need government to be in control of things like healthcare, or like or money, or transport, infrastructure, just general things like that we've always depended on government to do, because as a body of people, we're kind of hard to control, or we can't manage to put our minds together. But when you have a need and you're able to put that out as a tender, for example, and then have, say, 4 or 5 companies step up and go, we can do this, these are designs, this is what we suggest, or what we think you guys might need, and then all of a sudden people can vote on it, which is an empowered society, as opposed to a big group of idiots like what we kind of are now.
So wait, you're talking about like a situation where you have like a small council, like a local council, and they can choose which bridge design they want, something like that.
Well,
or more like a crowdfunding situation.
Well,
something between the two.
I don't know what actually happened here in Guadalajara with the new subway line they're putting in, but they're telling me that apparently a US company originally won the contract, and then for some reason now there's a Chinese company doing it. And I don't know much about that, but it's like, how can one company get something and another company do it? And I've been living in Guadalajara for 2 years, so I talk to a lot of people, there's a lot of news, and I had no idea. But 3 weeks ago, they were in China, and it was like big news. It's like, yeah, we beat the US, we won a contract for a Mexican light rail or monorail. And I was like, well, I'll wait for this noise to finish up. Thank you. I don't know whether it's the one here in Guadalajara or whether it's some other project, but I'm not aware of any other project in Mexico, so I'm going to say it's this one, because it's a pretty big city project.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool, but that's an example where the community needs something, and there's different groups looking to satisfy or to build the project, and apparently the Chinese group could do it for like half the price. So I was like, that's something that maybe not a couple people in an old style Caesar building is going to choose, but that would be nice to put out to everybody. And this is like the decentralized technology that's coming forward now, that's going to allow people to vote on things like that, in kind of a casual, controlled, and no errors, no manipulation.
Right.
We can decide on this.
That sounds like an interesting idea. Like if you have, so at the moment with the crowdfunding service, what normally happens is the person who wants to complete the project puts up the idea, and they say, we need $100,000 for this, and people give money. But what perhaps a better system in some cases would be like if somebody puts up like you're saying, like a tender, like they say we need this done, and it's like this crowdfunding freelance thing. So you're in the middle. You put up this page saying this is what we want done. The people, if they want, they give money to it, and on the other side you have these companies bidding on it, saying, well, we can do this and this and this with these features for this much, and then the people who've given money can choose which one they want.
Yeah, and pretty much anyone can do it. I mean, any company in the world can just step in and go, yeah, we have an idea of what we think you guys might need or like, and if you like it, vote for it, and we'll do it. Yeah.
So that would be another way to do it, and another way to find ways that capitalism can serve people.
And on the other side, well, just the fact that we're in Mexico and Holly and Jason, we're in China. It's like these are people like us that grew up in Australia that only really know or knew Australian culture, Australian ways of doing things, standard of living, just lifestyle. And then you start backpacking through India, China. They met up here with me in Mexico, and we're talking about these kind of comparisons, and we can see a society that's completely aware of what a clown show circus government is, just because here in Mexico things don't quite get done right. And here's a funny story where we went out to the Guachimontones a few days ago. So the pyramid is just north of, the round pyramid is north of Guadalajara, and on the way there's a section of roads like, this might be important. Okay, so it's like Aaron's driving, we don't know where we're going, we'll let him find his own way, and I thought, okay, I know a shortcut from Zapopan, so we'll cut through here, and we came across a section of road that there was a bit of traffic, and I thought, okay, maybe there's a bit of gravel road and people are taking their time and going easy, and then we saw the cars turning around. So, I mean, I kept going forward, like I see a police official at the front here, and anyone that's been to Mexico knows that Mexican police are a little more helpful than most others, just because I think that they get a harder time or they've got more work to do. And so I said, what's going on? And the policeman said, there's a protest up the road, so probably best turn around and go back. I'm like, well, I need to go through here. Is there a way around? And he wasn't very helpful after all, because he said, no, I don't know. Anyway, so I stopped to ask someone else if there's another way around, and that's when I got the full story. Apparently this section of road, which might have only been a couple kilometers long, through an actual little town, had 6 months and nothing has happened. Like they scraped all the asphalt off, so it's like clay dirt, hard, so it could be a normal road, but the local government started construction and then didn't finish. So months had passed by and people got the shit. So like, this is our road. People that had shops on the side of the road were out there with hoses to hose the dirt down, because Mexico gets hot. All the cars going past, all the dust comes into their shop and covers all their merchandise. So it's easier and cheaper for them just to wet the road, so cars are driving through mud, not brushing all the dust into the shop. So someone got the shits and has excavated a huge hole, just dug a trench across the road. So it's like, you know what, this road's no good and we've had enough. I'm just going to dig up the road so nobody can drive through here. So bus routes are stuffed, no one can get to school, no one can get to work, and to go around, well, it's hard work for everybody. Holly and Jason found that amazing. Like, people are taking action here. Why don't protesters in Australia take action and start, doing vandalism? Why don't they do something to force action? Right. And in a way it was a pain in the ass for me, but it was like, it's an example of how people in Mexico think differently, and they're not going to wait for government to take care of stuff. I think that's the end of the story.
All right. But yeah, there was a case recently, I think in Brazil, where the people have been waiting for maybe 2 years for a bridge, and so the community got together and they just like, well, the mayor's not going to do anything. Let's just do it. So they just went ahead and built it, and it cost like 1/10 of what the proposal was, and there you go, direct action. It really works. So there's that old question, that old trope. But who will build the roads? Well, we will.
Yeah. Oh, we'll get someone to do it.
Yeah.
For cheap.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Sigue hablando. Bla, 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 bla.
It's like Austin Powers. Huh? Who? Yeah, that's us.
All right. Peace.
So that was that. That's another episode of the Paradise Paradox. Thanks for tuning in. We always love your company. We love your comments. Don't waste any time. Subscribe. Press like. If you're tuning in, listening to us on the tubes, on the tunes, then iTunes, Pocket Casts, now also on SoundCloud. You do whatever they let you do. Like, comment, subscribe. We like people to be involved because that's our thing. We're involved in changing the world. So just sharing ideas over here and getting out some good quality information. If you enjoyed it, please let me know. If you're more information, check out the show notes. That's at our website, www.paradiseparadox.com. This is episode 116. 116. We're going to have some links, related stuff. I mean, if you're interested in breaking your idea on what capitalism is, and maybe making peace with that we can all be capitalists and communists and socialists and whatever, living on the same rock, I'm sure we can do it. So just about lifting that level of knowledge, and so yeah, do your homework, kids. That's about it. I think I'm done. Checklist complete. Thanks again. Peace, love, be well, and all the best.